worse. There you go. Right. It's over with now.
Some people think cutting his locks off was a bit extra. Other people think the punishment fits the crime. The backstory behind this clip is that a little boy's father decided that the best way to teach him a lesson about bullying is to cut his locks off. And he decided to cut his son's locks off because his son was bullying another child that lost their hair due to cancer.
Okay, the hair gotta go.
Yeah, I want y'all everybody record this, please.
Hair gotta go. Hair gotta go. Let's get it. It's over with.
Okay.
It's over with. It's over with. The hair gotta go. It's over with. It's over with. It's over with. Make it worse. There you go. Right. It's over with now. It's gone. It's gone now. It's over with. It's over with now. You want a lollipop? Want a lollipop? You're back to normal, sir. You about to get the attention that you really want.
I didn't even do nothing.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did it. You did it. It's over with now.
There are two sides. Like, some people believe that the father shouldn't have gone as far as to cut his locks off and that a proper ass whooping would have been enough to suffice. And there are others who feel like you could have just spoken to your child or, you know, used the traditional belt to teach them a lesson instead of cutting his hair. Because, you know, as most of us dreadheads know, we have a type of attachment to our hair, and I feel like cutting hair overall is a bit traumatic. I don't think I have an issue with the father cutting the son's hair just to teach him a lesson. I think the problem that I have is that he videoed it and uploaded it to the internet. I think that there's an embarrassment that comes with that. Like, if you're going to punish your child, perhaps do it in private. You don't have to broadcast it for the world to see, because we could see how traumatic it was for the child. He really didn't want to lose his hair.
And honestly, people like to say that, oh, that's child abuse and that's horrible and you shouldn't do that. But it's like, are you stupid? He was, first of all, bullying in general is just wrong. Like, you should never do it. Like, that's not cool.
I read some comments that said that the child wasn't really crying. He was just throwing a tantrum. But it looked really traumatic to me, because it does look like the child has an attachment to his hair. You know, when you go through having locks, as I assume this child went through the journey and grew his locks, maybe it looks like to me about like 1 to 2 years of growth there.
The real question is whether or not shaving his head is actually going to teach him a lesson. I think something that would be more impactful in actually teaching this child a lesson and correcting this issue of them bullying a cancer patient that was bald would be to actually sit down with them and have a real conversation about it, and maybe even with a cancer patient, so that they can actually tell the child what it's like going through this and why they're going bald and that kind of thing. It's really tough, because there's no knowing in this story whether or not this child who was getting his head shaved was the only person who was involved in bullying this cancer patient. We don't know who the cancer patient is. I don't know if it was a classmate or what the deal was.
I'm just curious to know what you would do. Like, would you cut your child's locks to teach them a lesson, or do you think you could give them something with the belt and keep it pushing?
Maybe you ain't doing something right to make you want to cut your child's dreadlocks off. Man, it's a traumatic experience, okay? People cut off their hair daily, B, and they have traumatic experiences about cutting their hair, especially their dreadlocks. But then to be forced to cut off the dreadlocks, I can only imagine how that child feels, and that gets me into the other side of it. As a child, could I imagine my father forcing me to cut off my dreadlocks? Man, you guys hear him.
Hair gotta go.
Listen to him.
Everybody record this, please.
Hair gotta go.
I just want to play a violin for the young man.
Just take a look at these comments. His guard is too high. I'd make my kid look like the cancer kid's twin. Child needs to learn how to be a good human. The child will grow to be a solid man thanks to dad. That's called good parenting. So we see that there are a lot of people that think his hair definitely should get cut for him to realize that what he did was bad and there was no other way to have him learn his lesson. So let me know what you think. I definitely think this is an interesting topic because people have so many different views when it comes to parenting and what's right and what's wrong when it comes to punishing and rewarding kids. And I want to know like what my audience thinks about what this father did in regards to cutting his son's locks for his son bullying someone that has cancer. Thank you for being here until the end, and I'll see you again in the next one.